All right, welcome to the Cannonball Classic. Eastern View has just kicked off. Culpeper on the return. Pretty nice one out to about the 33-yard line as a return man. Well, welcome aboard and welcome to tonight's broadcast. Brought to you by the Culpeper Media Network. And proud to bring you all the exciting action of the annual Cannonball Classic. I think we said this is the 18th time these two teams have met. It's been all Eastern View throughout the series. Eastern View trying to keep that winning streak going. Culpeper looking for its first win ever. I'm Mark O'Connell, joined as always by Steve Peacock. And our technical directors are Johnny Krawchuk and Nick Morris. So, Steve, welcome aboard.
All right.
And the Cyclones won the toss and opted to defer. So Culpeper opted to receive, and they go on offense to start things here tonight. This is the second game of the regular season for both teams. Handoff over the left side. Pretty good yardage out across the 45-yard line by the ball carrier there. Number 34, Riley Vineyard. You've heard his name frequently over the years because, Steve, he's really been a mainstay on this Blue Devils football team.
He sure is, and he's a tough, hard-nosed football player, Mark, just running right up the middle, right up the gut on Eastern View and picked up first down yardage.
There you're looking at the Blue Devil offensive huddle there. Look at these uniforms. I was telling Steve, I thought that the striping design on those shoulders kind of takes me back to the 60s. And I like that classic look. They're the whiteout uniforms tonight. They've got, here's a direct snap to Vineyard. He gets into Eastern View territory. You figure they're going to get a Vineyard quite a bit here tonight because he's been a workhorse over these last 3 years. Well, I was talking about the uniforms. If you look at those helmets, you can see the letter C for Culpeper, and then on the back of the helmets they have the numbers. And of course, Eastern View, they're blacked out with their black uniforms and blue numbers. So, Steve, Culpeper starting on offense, and so far they want to stick to the running game. Right now, it seems to be like they've got some running room up there with this offensive line.
Yeah,
and they try a little trickery here, and it amounts to nothing as the running back there, Caleb Green, was tackled for a loss. They were doing pretty good when they were going straight forward with the ball, but I think they were trying to catch Eastern View off balance.
They sure were, and it was a good tackle there by number Ronan Smith. He's the one, I think, to transfer in from Battlefield in on that play against Caleb Green. But again, I agree with you, Mark, running right up the middle because right now it looks like Culpeper is big and physical up front. And other than that play, they've been doing a pretty good job right now blocking for the Blue Devils.
Well, now we have a 3rd and 11. Here's the snap, throw over the middle, incomplete. And that was Riley Lentz's pass was intended for Mason Elkins, incomplete. 4th down and 11. Here comes the Culpeper punting team.
And so that was a really big play there by Eastern View because they were on that previous play where they stopped Caleb Green for a big loss because what's happened is that the physical nature of Eastern View and that one that disrupted that whole series right there.
Punter standing at his own 30-yard line, awaiting the snap. 2 men deep for the Cyclones. Well, the Blue Devils going 4 and out here on its opening possession. Here's the punt from the 35-yard line. This is going to be fielded at the 25-yard line. Being returned and tackled at the 36-yard line is the return man there, number 12, Wyatt James. So now we'll see the Eastern View offense for the first time tonight with relatively good field position. And a different quarterback this year, Steve. It's going to be Caperton.
Yep, Tyler Caperton. I believe he's a sophomore.
Right.
And come in, they lost A.P. Hull. He's now playing at Liberty. And so they bring in Caperton, who played very, very sparingly last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does here against this defense of the Blue Devils.
Well, you think about A.P. Hull and really what he meant to this Cyclone football team. I mean, the ability to pass and run, obviously a dual threat. And he's a senior this year. You hate to lose a guy like that. So I know it's an old cliche, but obviously Caperton has some very large shoes to fill. Here's a run up the middle and maybe a guard on the play. The Eastern View running back there. It's number 1, Jordan Hopkins.
And Mark, let's get set some of the defense right now for Culpeper. Deep safety is number 3, and that's Caleb Green. and is the deep safety spot. And we're looking here to get the rest of the next snap.
Ball at the 37-yard line. It's second down and about 9. Our first penalty flag is thrown tonight. Likely going to work against the offense and cost them 5 yards. We'll check the call. Well, Eastern View is led by first-year head coach Don Joy. Now there's going to be an encroachment against Culpeper. That'll cost the Blue Devils 5 yards.
Didn't see that.
That'll move it out to the 43-yard line. Brings up second down. And about 3. And Tyler Caperton, jersey number 3, in the pistol formation there. Here comes the pressure from the Blue Devils. Cyclones pick it up. Caperton keeps it, gets to the outside, crosses midfield. Blue Devil territory, he's got a big first down. The longest run so far of the game by either team.
Yeah, that was all Tyler Caperton right there. He just fed off the
pressure
the
from the Blue Devils.
One wasn't
Cyclones
inside. He bounced it outside.
Caperton
and Culpeper was not
outside.
too much pinching inside, and that's where he ripped off that big gain. But, let's get back to the defense. You got number 7 to one of the corners. That's Colton Green. That's Caleb's brother. You got number 20 for Culpeper, and that is Richard Cannon back at one of the cornerback spots as well.
All right, 3-man front now for that Blue Devil defense. First and 10 Cyclones. Back to the run they go. Jordan Hopkins hit hard and tackled at the 45-yard line. He'll lose a yard on the play. Good defense that time by the Blue Devils.
And we got number 55 for the Blue Devils in there, and that's Ricky Butler. Number 5 is playing some defense there, and that's Mason Elkins. So you're going to see a lot of two-way players, Mark, for the Blue Devils.
Here is second down and 10. Tyler Caperton back there as quarterback, operating from the pistol formation. Got a receiver split both ways, top of your screen and at the bottom of your screen. They go back to the run. 3 or 4 yards on the carry. Is a running back that time, number 24, Devin White. That'll bring up third down. Well, localsportshistory.com is the community sports site that you are building organically. Check out local sports information or contribute your submissions at localsportshistory.com. Clock running, 7:15 and counting here in the first quarter. We're scoreless. Blue Devils had the ball first. They went 3 and out. Eastern View on its opening possession here. They started out on the 36-yard line. They have it down to the Culpeper 42. Here's Caperton looking for a receiver, now throws. This one's picked off at the 35-yard line by number 8, Tyler McKnight. Our first turnover of the game, and there's a whistle and perhaps a penalty flag down on the field as well.
It's a penalty right there. And watch number 8 sitting right in there for Culpeper. He's able to pick off that pass. Tyler Caperton right there. And for a big game, but let's see what the flag's about.
It could have been a penalty on the return after the interception. Tyler McKnight. Oh, they waved it off.
Yep.
And it's first down for the Blue Devils. Back on offense they go with pretty good field position. They're going to be at the 44-yard line.
It was a pass interference, defensive pass interference, but they waved it off because of the interception.
All right, well, our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Back to work go the Blue Devils offense. Hope to have a little bit more success than they did on their first try. And they'll go back to this Wildcat formation, and they hike it to Riley Vineyard. Vineyard, the tough ball carrier, ran into a wall of black jerseys, and then got a little bit of a push, and he got across the 45 out to about the 47. Give him 3 yards and call it 2nd and 7. Here in this first quarter, 6:30 to play and clock ticking.
And Mark, they're going to try to run, and Culpeper's got a big offensive line. They're pretty strong, stout up front, led by number 70, and that's Ryder Sellers in there, some big boys for the Blue Devils, and see if they can open up holes for Vineyard.
Yeah, and you look at the roster, not really a lot of seniors on this Culpeper team. So, if they play well this year, certainly bodes well for the future. Riley Vineyard stiff arms at least 3 defenders and made something out of nothing. A penalty flag comes in late, Steve, along these sidelines here. Could be a late hit.
It's going to be a late hit out of bounds, and you just saw how strong Riley Vineyard was on that play. It looked like he's going to be tackled for loss, and he was able to, his strength and stiff-armed his way for a first down, and we'll see what the call is here.
Well, when Riley Vineyard showed you right there, a perfect example how important it is for a running back to make that first guy miss. And when you think about Vineyard being mainly a north-south runner, he was running east and west, and he had a guy that had a chance to drop him for a loss. He got away from him. He goes down the field and has 2 more stiff arms to break a couple more tackles.
Yep.
And then you're going to tack on the penalty here.
15 yards, personal foul against the Cyclones.
And Steve, as they mark it off, we'll tell our viewing audience that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 540-547-3673. Blue Devils now in business here after that 15-yard penalty. The Culpeper now has it at the Eastern View 33-yard line.
And we got 44 in there, running back. Cameron Marduz is now one of the running backs, up backs for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, you look at this formation, and it's a direct snap here to Riley Lentz. Here's Lentz, rolls to his right, throws downfield, got a receiver, and it's caught at the 15-yard line by Caleb Green. Now the Blue Devils are in that red zone, Steve, threatening early on.
They sure are, and there was a big pass and good catch by Caleb Green. He just used his athletic ability to go up and get that ball, and he high-pointed and brought it down. Big pass, big catch.
And, really good job by Riley Lentz to roll out and take his time and find the receiver accurately where the ball was really thrown right where it needed to be.
It was an accurate throw, and throw it to your best receiver, and that's Caleb Green.
Down to the 11-yard line, 1st and 10 Blue Devils here. Here's the snap. Riley Vineyard looking for some running room. Not going to find any this time. Good tackle in the backfield. Combination there of players. Number 24 for Eastern View. That is Devin White. And he had a little bit of assistance. Moves the ball back to the 14. So they lose 3. And to bring up 2nd and 11.
And I'm trying to get some numbers on the Eastern View defense. Who's leading it inside there for the Cyclones?
Well, good-looking uniforms, both teams. See, sometimes we have trouble with those numbers on those jerseys because of the contrast. A little difficult to pick up. Here's Vineyard going to the right, then makes a cut inside, gets that lost yardage back. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down. We'll check the spot here. Looks like they're going to have it at the 14. So actually, no gain on the play. A 3rd down and 13, Steve. You got to draw up something here because you got to. If you're Culpeper, you got to come away with some points.
You got to come away with some points. You're in the red zone and you're driving that football. Go back again to the plays that are working. They're going to probably start keying on Riley Vineyard pretty much. So then you got to go to your other backs and kind of mix it up in there and see what they can do. But they're in the red zone. You're right. They have to score some points.
Well, we got movement up front, and they didn't call a penalty. I think that Riley Lentz was looking for one. Now he looks to the sideline for some confirmation. Here's the snap. This one right to Vineyard. Vineyard straight ahead he goes, and they keep pushing forward, and forward progress will get him probably down to the 6, or actually to the 10. Then the penalty flag comes in at the end of this play.
And now is this going to be unsportsmanlike on Culpeper? We'll see right here. Because it'll be, if it's against Eastern View, that's a big penalty. They'll give them 1st down.
Well, we've had one unsportsmanlike penalty so far. And the big 15-yarder hurt the Cyclones. And now they're mulling this one over to see who this one is against.
And it looks like it's probably against the Blue Devils the way they're huddling there near the Eastern View defense. And now you're going to say, is this a dead ball foul?
All right, here comes the call. Personal foul, Culpeper. So now they're going to mark it off from the 10. They'll be out to the 25, I suppose. Yep, because he's marking off 15.
And that's the thing that the Blue Devils cannot have tonight. Are
Yep.
penalties like that. You're in the red zone, and then you get a dumb penalty like that. The play is already over, and someone came in and gave a late shot to somebody, and the officials right there are going to call it.
Yep.
So
That's really the mental part of the game, isn't it? Self-control,
exactly.
discipline, that sort of thing. Now you're the Blue Devils, and you're looking at 4th and 25. If you were to try a field goal from here, I think it's a 42-yarder.
And I don't know if Culpeper's got a kicker that can kick it that far. So you're 4th down. You're not going to punt it, so you're going to have to sit there and.
Well, they're going to go for it here on 4th down, at least line up for it like they're going to. They had a really good opportunity. They had moved the ball down the Cyclone 11-yard line. Then they got pushed back on back-to-back plays on their running game, and then the big penalty just a moment ago moves the ball out to the 25-yard line. Here's Lentz throwing near side. Got a receiver. Caleb Green makes a move, comes to the outside. He's still fighting for yardage. He's shy of the 10-yard line, but that was a pretty good effort that time by Green or Mason Elkins, rather.
Yeah, that was Mason
Elkins. But I think that was good for the Blue Devils because they were able to get the ball down deeper in the Eastern View territory. So at least they can say we're going to put Eastern View's offense deep in the hole. On the other hand, if you're the Blue Devils, you get down to the 11-yard line, not coming away with points has to be a little bit disheartening.
It is. It's very disheartening, and because you're down, you've never beaten this team. You look like you got it pretty much an advantage up front, both sides of the ball, and then you go and commit a dumb penalty and take your team out of scoring position.
Eastern View back on offense will start at its own 12. 3 minutes to play here in this first quarter. And the ball carrier gets out across the 15 to the 16. This broadcast brought to you in part by Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. And K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371. Here's the snap. Caperton throwing. Short pass. Reversing direction is the receiver. And he makes pretty good yardage out to the 25-yard line. That'll be enough for a Eastern View first down. And the receiver there, Steve, was number 2, Brock Gray.
And again, right there, they had him trapped, but they just couldn't wrap him up. And they gave him when you don't wrap up and you don't tackle, you just can't arm tackle these kids these days. You've got to sit there and put a helmet, put a hat on them. And Culpeper had an opportunity. They didn't get it done there.
Yeah, and you've talked about wrapping up, how important that is. Caperton's going to keep it on the play fake. He gets to the outside, 35, 40, and finally tackled at midfield by number 3, Caleb Green. That's a 25-yard pickup by that Cyclone quarterback. Here's the play action. He fakes it.
Yep, there he is.
Gets to the outside, gets a block right there. That's a block on Mason Elkins, and then Green comes over from his safety position to tackle him at midfield.
But there's a penalty on the play, and the play's called back, Mark.
Yeah, it sure is. Didn't see the penalty flag when it was thrown. Let's check the man in the white. Well, they're marking it off. This is a big one.
Hold.
All right, it's holding. Back 10 yards. All right, let's check the spot. And it's at the 24-yard line.
Again, penalties and mistakes, are hurting both teams.
And we're down to just under 2 minutes to play. Clock ticking here in the first quarter. We are still scoreless. They keep it on the run, straight ahead, and busting forward with some power across the 30 to the 35-yard line was Jordan Hopkins.
Got a lot of that yardage back.
He sure did. Picked up 11 on the play.
Yep.
Not bad. And they say he got enough for a first down, so they move the sticks.
Yep.
Clock stop now resumes running at 1:35 and counting. First quarter action. You can see we're scoreless. Here's the snap to Caperton and the handoff once again. Rowley Vineyard looked like he made the initial hit. Then he had slowing the ball carrier up. Then he had some help come up quickly. And they stopped the ball carrier at the 38-yard line, pick up a 3 yard, 2nd and 7 on its way. Some of these other Eastern View players in there, number 7, Makai Williams. And wide right is number 4, Elijah Bland. Going to the top of your screen, wide left, number 15, Mason Settle.
And Mark, right now that was a good hard run, and right now Culpeper's got to figure it out.
Well, they're going to throw near side to Bland. Bland broke a tackle, and then it took 2 or 3 Blue Devils to sling him to the ground after he crossed the 40 out to about the 42. Pickup of 3. Clock continues to run, 30 seconds and counting here in this first quarter at Cyclone Stadium. And this is, again, the annual Cannonball Classic that pits our 2 county schools against each other annually.
Well, you got Brendan Stover and Riley Vineyard in there at linebackers, and that previous play, Vineyard, he gets a hand on you, you're going down. He's going to make that tackle.
Well, they fake it, and Caperton keeps it, and he's still fighting for yardage. He got across the 45 to the 46. In on the tackle, of course, again is Riley Vineyard. You can pretty much figure he's going to be where that football is.
Yep.
And it looks like the time has expired. We've played 1 quarter here at Cyclone Stadium, and we are scoreless. We'll take a break and come back for the start of the second quarter right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching the Cannonball Classic on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF.
All right, well, welcome back to our broadcast. And on this first play from scrimmage in the second quarter, the Cyclones fumbled and the Blue Devils recovered it. So turnover number 2 against the Cyclones here, Steve.
Yep, Tyler McKnight, number 8, recovered the fumble, Mark. And it was.
Well, did he also have the interception earlier?
Yes.
All right.
So now, big turnover for the Cyclones, and now see if the Blue Devils can cash in.
As we start the second quarter, Blue Devil offense on the field thanks to that turnover, and they're going to start out with excellent field position at the Eastern View 42. Here's a snap to Lentz. We'll make that number 32, rather. Caleb Jenkins ran it up the middle and was quickly greeted by a wall of black jerseys. And let's check the spot. They're going to give him a yard on the play.
Yeah, Mark, they're going to be running behind, big 63 Saul Acevedo and 66 Cameron Dotson up there for the Blue Devils. And number 57 is Garrett Reingruber. So they're the offensive line. And 55, Ricky Butler's in there as well.
Yeah, I want you to take a look at this offensive formation, Steve. There's a direct snap, and this is what I like about it because it looked like a little bit of misdirection back there. They had the quarterback turning in one direction, a running back coming to get the ball that was a fake. They snapped it to Vineyard. He went straight ahead, and just like that, got inside the 35-yard line to the 34. It's a tune of like 9 yards on the play.
Yeah, and what's happened is that flex bone offense that Sherry likes to run. It really is a variation of the old single wing or double wing, single wing. You have all these guys in the backfield, and they can snap it to any of them. Exactly.
Well said. And they snap it this time to a man who's smothered almost immediately, and that was Grant Soderholm. And he was tackled by Hayden Lovelace, number 9.
Yeah, number 9 against number 9.
Yeah, 9 on 9.
That looked promising, but number 9 for the Cyclones kind of shut that down pretty quick.
Sure did. No gain on the play. And it's like a fourth, a short 2 or a long 1. Let's call it 4th and 2.
They're going for it.
I think you almost have to. Here they go with a little bit missed. Same play, Steve. Same exact action in that backfield to freeze the defense, and it was a direct snap to number 44, Cameron Marduz. And he gets a first down for the Blue Devils. So now, again, Culpeper's cooking and looking to score.
Yeah, they've got dominating up front on those inside runs. And if I was Coach Sherry, I'd be sticking with it until, make Easterview try to stop you. Then try to go maybe a little play action off that. Slide, drop your quarterback back and hit one of your wide receivers swinging out of that backfield.
Yeah, so you're looking at 3 possible players they can hike it to. They hike it to Vineyard, and they wrap Vineyard up so quickly he never could get going. I think the person who got in there made the really penetrated so quickly was number 24, Devin White. Well, this broadcast, you should know that localsportshistory.com is the community sports site that you are building organically. Check out local sports information or contribute your submissions at localsportshistory.com. All right, they're showing a 2nd and 13 here. Ball at the 25. All right, here's Lentz. Rolls to his right, throws short. This one caught near the 20-yard line. That was caught by Caleb Green. Coming over in defense, number 2, Brock Gray.
He's going to be Caleb is their number 1 receiver. Even though he's lining up in the backfield, he presents a big target for Lentz to throw it.
I'm sorry, he got down to the 18-yard line after a pickup of 7 yards. Then they bring it back on a 5-yard penalty. Let's see, here he is. Maybe it's bigger than that. No, it's 5. Back to the 31.
Was it ineligible?
I think it was a false illegal procedure or false start.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought I saw one Culpeper player kind of leaning right before the ball was snapped. So again, but what Culpeper's got to do, I think, is test that secondary of Eastern View. They're young, they're small, and I'd be sitting there and Lentz had success against Western Almar. I'd be going back to that.
We've had some limited success here tonight on those tosses. Here's a reverse. This one. Well, here's a penalty flag coming in as Colton Green is the ball carrier. Let's see what this yellow laundry is all about.
Well, it couldn't be a bad block because it was our way after the block. Could have been a face mask. Let's see what the call is here.
The man in the white hat is about to tell us.
Yeah, it's gonna be
another holding against Culpeper. Now they're moving in reverse.
Yep. And see, this is what kills you. This is, if you want to beat a team that's beaten you 18 times over the last 18 years, you can't go out there and make mistakes like that.
Yeah, you can't. Now, Culpeper's drive that moved down to the 11-yard line earlier was stalled. Now they got a drive that started in good field position. They moved it down to 23. But they've been moving in reverse since then, Steve, with those penalties.
They're just drive killers.
All right, direct snap, straight ahead, ball carrier is number 44, Cameron Marduz.
And see, I think you need to get some of your speedsters involved here and get on the edge because Eastern View is really selling out up front to stop these inside runs now. So this is where you can probably attack the corners. Let's see what they do.
Well, they've got the ball at the 36-yard, 36-yard line. And we're looking at 3rd and very long, like 3rd and 23. So they need a big play here if they're hoping to keep this drive going. Here's Caleb Green. Green went over the left side, forced out of bounds, shy of the 30-yard line. He picked up about 4, and now you got another 4th and long coming up.
And again, why are you doing that? You've got big yardage. You've got to throw the ball.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with getting the hands into a ball player like Caleb Green's hands.
Right.
But he went to the short side of the field, too. There wasn't a whole lot of room to work over there.
And I'd be sending Green, as big as he is, to the end zone and throw it. Make him make high pointer like you did in the first quarter.
All right, here you've got 4th down from the Eastern View 32-yard line. And then you did about 19 yards. Here's Lentz. Here's the pressure. They throw it out there in the flat. He's got Green. Green sprinting down the far sidelines. We'll have to check the spot and see where it went out of bounds. He may have enough for a Blue Devil first down. We'll see.
Let's go back to that replay, and that was perfect. It was almost like a screen, but really was just a toss right out there, a little toss pass right out to Caleb Green, and he was able to bring it down for first down yardage. Let's see is there another flag?
I don't know. It looks like the two teams are changing units as though he didn't get the first down. Maybe he went on a bounds at a spot that was shy of that first down yardage.
Yeah.
But now they turn it over on downs.
Yeah, they said he got knocked out of bounds.
All right, Eastern View takes over at its own 15. We have 6 minutes and 3 seconds to play in the second quarter. We remain scoreless. All right. Well, get to these back to action here and talk about some of the things we need to on the side as well. Right now, let's see what Eastern View can do on offense. They go back to the run. And from the 15, the ball carrier gets close to the 20-yard line for forward progress before he's pushed back.
And, right now, Culpeper could be up 2 scores. They've been kind of dominating up front. Mm-hmm. But then they get down the red zone, and that's when they get those crazy penalties.
Jordan Hopkins on the carry. And they're going to, this will be second down and 5 here. He's going to throw his Caperton. He's got a receiver out there. Goes through his hands. He was open. The ball was there. That one intended for Brock Gray. And I'm sure he'd love to have that one back.
He had Culpeper completely fooled. There wasn't nobody around. And it was a missed assignment, what that was, by the Blue Devil defense. And they caught a break there.
Yeah, I'm going to say from a quarterback's position, you can't throw it too much better than that.
No. As your receivers that's when you got to come up and make those plays.
All right, brings up 3rd and 5 for the Cyclones here with 5:24 to play in the second quarter. Clock stopped after the incomplete pass. Caperton back there in the pistol. He's got Jordan Hopkins behind him. Here come the Blue Devils on the pressure. They're coming up. Caperton runs away from it. He breaks the tackle, and he's about a yard shy of a first down. So Caperton did a good job of eluding that pressure, Steve, and making positive out of that. He's only about a yard shy of moving those sticks.
But it's way deep in now.
Yeah.
Big call here for the Cyclones.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go with the
punt.
The best bet, or the safest bet, rather, bringing on that punt team.
But Culpeper's got to have discipline. Don't jump.
Yeah.
Up front.
Don't flinch. Don't jump. Don't move. Watch that ball.
Stay right where you are.
Yeah. All right. Dropping back to punt is Hayden Lovelace, number 9, standing at his own 10-yard line. One man back for the Blue Devils, standing inside his own 40. Here's the snap. Lovelace's kick. They nearly got to it. Let's check the return. Green says stay away from it. Wisely, the Blue Devils do, and the Cyclones down it at the Blue Devil 47-yard line. So another opportunity, Steve, for this Blue Devil offense when you talk about excellent field position. Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Clock showing 4:19 to play here in this second quarter. And again, we remain scoreless. Let's see what Culpeper can do. starting with excellent field position from its own 46.
There's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Blue Devils. Someone moved before the snap. Again, starting out penalties, and see, the other thing Culpeper's going to understand, Easterview's going to get the ball to start the second half.
That's true. Push them back 5 yards to the 41 brings up 1st and 15. All right, another spot for our sponsors here. We got to thank them all. And this broadcast brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 540-547-3673. 1st and 15 Blue Devils. From the 41, here's a snap to Green. Green doing a good job. He got in, ran over that left side, kind of waited for the play to unfold with some blocking, then surged ahead across the 45 out to, it looks like, the 47-yard line. I think that's going to bring, let's see, check this. Yeah, Eastern View territory at the 48.
Man, at least you got the penalty yardage back.
Yeah, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 5 from there.
And again, like time of possession is all Culpeper here in the first half.
Yeah, and you look, what do you have to show for it? Just nothing in terms of points, but you do know that you can move this football.
Right.
As Caleb Green shows here on his run, he will have enough for a 1st down for the Blue Devils. Well, this broadcast brought to you in part by Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. All right, clock stop, resuming at 3:05 and counting. Here in the second quarter, Blue Devils have a new set of downs. And they have the ball on Eastern View side of the field at the 43. Straight ahead is the ball carrier, getting the push. And, that seems to work pretty well for them, Steve. You're going to get 3 or 4 yards a pop almost. As the ball carrier that time was number 44, Cameron Marduz.
And it's the tush push. And, back in our day, you couldn't do that. You could not aid the runner.
Right. That's what it was called, wasn't it?
Yep, aiding the runner. And so, but now you can. And see, that shows me, too, that Culpeper's pretty physical up front. I mean, Easterview's got one kid, that number 9, but other than that, Culpeper's outweighing them.
Here's Vineyard trying to get to the outside, following his blocks and stiff-arming people along the way. Gets out of bounds. I think he's picked up a 1st down. Will stop the clock. This broadcast brought to you in part by K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371. Let's check the spot. They have it now at the 34-yard line. And looks like it's going to be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I thought he picked it up. But
I did too. And now what about clock management, Steve, in terms of timeouts and everything? I mean, they got 2 minutes remaining. Here they go again. This time, Eastern View is not fooled, and they were there to stuff this play right at the line of scrimmage.
It was a fumble is what it was.
Well, Vineyard came up with it.
Yep. So, did that move it enough?
I don't think so.
Let me see.
If you look along the far sidelines there, it looks like he's about a half a yard shy. So it is 4th down.
And again, that was a sloppy play by the Blue Devils, Mari. Vineyard never did get the handoff, and it popped up in the air, but he was able to pounce on it, but still about a half yard short.
Yeah, so you get some of this misdirection in that backfield, can be a little confusing. Who do they snap it to? They go back to Vineyard. Vineyard pops to the outside, and he will have a 1st down and more. I think maybe he's a little deceiving. You don't think of a guy like that, and as a north-south runner, going to the outside and breaking tackles,
right.
That initial tackle, but he's a power guy who also can show that he can go east and west as well.
Yeah, he's very strong, and just imagine if he was about 6'3", 6'4", the schools would be all over him.
Well, they needed about a yard, and he picked up 7 for them. Moves the chains and the stick, And the Blue Devils have a new set of downs. It's 1st and 10 from the Cyclones' 27-yard line. The clock has stopped with 1:20 to play, and now they blow the whistle to resume it. And so the Blue Devils will hope to cap this drive with a score before the intermission. Looks like we may have a timeout on the field, and we do. Well, our timeout sponsor is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial health of our members and of the community. That's UVAcreditunion.org.
See that they wasted like 20 seconds right there. It was 1:20 to get them back down, to call timeout, because now clock, and they've been just running it, and it's taking a lot of time off the clock. I get that, but now you got to look to throw it here.
Yeah, because with the pace and what they're gaining each time, it's like you don't have enough time just to keep doing this.
Right.
You're going to have to sprinkle in something else to pick up some big yardage.
Yeah, but you maybe a little play action here would be very good. I mean, they can swing out Cable Green, basically, or line them up as a tight end or H-back. We'll see what the...
Well, in that backfield is Riley Lentz, Riley Vineyard, Cameron Marduz, and Caleb Green.
Is this an official's timeout, or who was charged with the timeout? Was it Eastern View?
I'm not certain. Seems to be a rather long one, doesn't it?
Yep.
Clock stopped. 1:42 to play here in the second.
They did adjust the clock.
And the Blue Devils have it 1st and 10 at the Cyclone 27, and a whistle stops this one.
They're having issues with the clock.
Well, but while they sort this one out, I wanted to remind you that Eastern View is led this year by first-year head coach Don Joy. And the Blue Devils, head coach Eric Sherry, enters his 3rd season this year.
All right, now let's see if we can get this offense play going now.
Here we go. Here's Lentz back to work, throwing. Got a receiver, incomplete. He had his hands on the ball. Good defensive play. Intended for Jossie Shiflett. And then the Eastern View secondary.
And I think
getting the kudos there, Steve. Congratulations. Wyatt James, number 12.
And I think they need to do that, Mark. They need to attack that secondary. They're young and they're not very tall. And that was just it was a good play by Eastern View defender there. But again, they need to. I think Culpeper needs to still go after that. And
they threw it on 1st down.
Yep.
And they didn't burn but just a few seconds of the clock. And it's on the incomplete pass. It stopped at 1:35. So sort of a economy of time there.
But you're knocking on the door.
All right, 2nd down. Ball is loose, and the Blue Devils pounce on it in the backfield. They're going to lose a little bit of yardage there back to the 29, loss of 2. Now you got to be thinking about your timeouts.
And I'm thinking right there, that was a little miscommunication between Vineyard and Lentz. It looked like Vineyard, took off, and Lentz was handing the ball to him.
Brings up 3rd and 12, and this clock continues to run as we approach the 1-minute mark here in the second quarter.
See, I don't get that. I think you need to attack, and you're letting this clock.
All right, here's the reverse handoff. This is Caleb Green coming near side. Green gets to the outside, makes a cut, 10, 5, looking for the pylon, and he didn't quite make it, but he got to the 1.
He got to the 1.
28 yards and a 1st down.
Watch this.
Here we go.
Inside, almost stopped in the backfield, but then he turns on the afterjets.
There he goes in between the field. He picked up a block there. Yeah.
And, if you had replay, did he get in?
Well, it looked like he was trying to touch the pylon with the ball. Maybe he stepped out first.
Yeah.
The official was right on it. And yet there's another penalty flag down. Let's see what's going to happen with this.
This might be going against. It would probably be a holding or a block in the back if it goes against Culpeper.
But you know, Steve, really good play call.
It was. It was a good play call. Misdirection.
Unsportsmanlike? I don't know what that one was about.
That's a dead ball, too, so they're going to give him the first down, but they're going to knock him back 15 yards. Did he throw it in the play, or did he throw it after the play?
I thought it was after the play. It said to be a dead ball foul. Now they're sorting it out, and I hear the officials marking it off now. So it's from the spot there at the 1, and if you mark it off 15, that should put it at the 16.
Yep.
And it does.
Now, 44 seconds to go in the game, in the half.
But let's see what they got here.
See, I didn't see it. I didn't see the play. You know, it was after. Did they call on that block? I didn't think that was a bad block.
Must have been something else. Here's a timeout taken by the Blue Devils. With 44 seconds to play in this second quarter, neither team has scored. The Blue Devils have come closest with Caleb Green getting to the 1-yard line, only to have it pushed back 15 yards with the unsportsmanlike penalty.
Yeah, I mean, that had everyone fooled, and they were knocking on the door. They could have just handed to Vineyard on the next play. It would have been a touchdown, but now you're backed up on 16, still in the red zone. You got 44 seconds. You know, you got to take a couple shots in the end zone. And,
yeah.
And how's Culpeper's field goal kicker? I don't know.
Well, we may find out.
Yep.
Because I really think the Blue Devils need to come away with a score.
I do too.
And as you pointed out, when we start the second half, third quarter kickoff is going to be received by the Cyclones.
Yeah, they got number 11 as their kicker, and it's Jason Arias, tight end, defensive line, kicker, and punter. So, all right, we'll see what the call is here.
The 16-yard line.
Yep.
It's 1st and 10. But the time is critical. 44 seconds to play in the second quarter. Scoreless. We are so far. Low snap. Able to hand it off. This is Caleb Green. He loses it and pounced on it of the Cyclones if he stayed in bounds with it. Coming up with it was number 8 for Eastern View. That was Ronan Smith.
That was a costly turnover.
Here he is right here. Yeah, they got his arm in there, jarred it loose.
And he's out of bounds. You know, when he touched it, his body's out of bounds.
All right, so that's not a turnover in possession. They don't turn it over to the Cyclones then because it was recovered out of bounds.
And again, you know, Caleb's got to learn to take care of that football. Can't hold it out there like a sack of loaf of bread.
Well, you certainly understand why they would go to him, though.
Yep.
Because he's the kind of guy that's going to, and of course you got Riley Vineyard. He's been a workhorse, as predictably he always is. At the 13, it's 2nd and 7. Here's a snap. Throwing. Over the middle. He got a receiver near the 5-yard line. This one's hauled in by Caleb Green. No, Mason Elkins, rather, number 5. Elkins brings it in, and now they're getting much closer. The question is, can he keep the yellow laundry off the field?
That's true. And it looks like Culpeper called timeout.
This may be their last one.
Yep.
Timeout taken by the Blue Devils, and why not? You've got 25 seconds remaining. You're trying to cap this drive with a score. This drive started on the Blue Devil 46.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It said back and forth, back, forth, back, forth. So as far as, you know, between the 50 and the 20-yard line.
Well, our timeout sponsor, UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial health of our members and of the Culpeper community. Visit them at uvacreditunion.org.
So Culpeper caught a big break there, Mark, on that fumble by Caleb Green, and was able to, it went down as not a fumble. The ball, Culpeper gets the ball back because Eastern View had tried to recover, but he was out of bounds.
They've got the ball at the 5-yard line where it's 1st and goal with 28 seconds to play. Vineyard, the ball carrier. There's the big push. Up leading that pile was big number 77, Markel Reed. Let's check the spot.
They stopped the clock.
The clock has stopped, but did Culpeper have a timeout to use?
I don't think they did.
I think that's why the fans are questioning who stopped the clock this time. So no gain. Well, now the clock, they stopped it again.
Yep. Culpeper calls his final timeout.
All right, Steve, they had the ball at the 5-yard line. It's 2nd and goal from that spot. You've used all your timeouts. You've got 17 seconds left. Do you have time for 2 plays?
If you throw it.
Yeah.
If you throw it. If you try to run it, the power like they're doing, no. They won't. They'll get 1 play. And that's it. So they Culpeper, like you said, Mark, it's important that they come away with a score here. They're down, they've been pushing Eastern View pretty much up and down the field, but they get down to the red zone, and that's when the mistakes happen. And and you can't be sloppy with the football.
Right.
And that's what Culpeper's been doing, sloppy with the football.
They've been lucky they've recovered their own fumbles.
Yes, that's true.
They had 1 fumble recovered by a Eastern View player, but he was out of bounds, so that didn't count. And in contrast, Eastern View does have 2 turnovers tonight, and Tyler McKnight was a recipient of both of those on an interception and a fumble recovery. All right, here come the Blue Devils after the timeout. We'll recap it for you here. This drive started at the Blue Devil 46. They have worked it down to the Eastern View 5, where it's 2nd down and goal from that spot. 17 seconds remaining, and we believe the Blue Devils are out of timeouts. So, clock management, very important for Culpeper. Snap is high. Green has it. Bounces to the outside, makes a cut, and he's in from 5 yards out. Our first score of the season. Stephen, this Cannonball Classic.
Touchdown, Blue Devils. Caleb Green from 5 yards out gets Culpeper on board, 6-0.
And here, right there, Steve, he was waiting patiently for his blocks, and he picked up a couple, notably Saul Acevedo, number 63, had a key block for that touchdown. All right, now on for the point after. Looks like the holder is going to be number 13, Isaac Weigert.
You better get some people on the field here.
Yep, you got to have 11. A little bit of confusion there. All right, now they line up. It's Saul Acevedo is your place kicker. Just mention him as providing that key block for Caleb Green. Kick is up, kick is good. 7-0 Blue Devils. Second quarter action, 13 seconds remaining.
And it was important, like you said, Culpeper strikes first. And they're able to get on the scoreboard. And now that is going to now make it more important for Eastern View to answer in the second half, to start the second half.
All right, unofficially, that drive, 11 plays, 54 yards, capped by a 5-yard touchdown run by Caleb Green, and the point after by Saul Acevedo. 7-0 Blue Devils. Steve, I'd have to look back at the records, and I have looked at the records of the scores between these two teams. The one really close game was in November of 2009.
Right. And
the final score was 20-19. Other than that, really hadn't been very close over the years. Now these two teams find themselves in a different setting, in the sense that Eastern View is scoreless so far through the first half. Culpeper leads 7-0 in a game that we knew would be competitive. But I think we're in a position we really haven't been in with these two teams.
No, you're right. And I remember back that game, it was cold that night.
Yes, it was.
And that was Coach Williams, Mike Williams.
Yep.
Tenure. He's now a chiropractor down in Southwest Virginia.
Well, Mike Williams is who Steve is referring to, and we could go through the list of coaches that succeeded Lou Sorrentino, and Mike was there at the helm for 4 years. I think it was through 2012, 2008, 2012, because Ken Wakefield took over in 13. And Mike Williams, originally from that Abington area, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Glade Spring.
In fact, right. His son played football at Patrick Henry of Glade Spring.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
We say Glade Spring because there's 3 Patrick Henry high schools in Virginia.
Yep.
One is in Roanoke, one is in Ashland, and the other in Glade Spring, as we just mentioned.
And the one in Ashland's coached by the former coach Culpeper Wakefield, isn't he? Is he still
That's
there?
right. He is at PH
Yeah.
of Ashland, right. So
He had
we send our best to all our former coaches, Ken Wakefield, Mike Williams, Greg Martz,
Randy
Bove, James Ford.
Yeah.
On the Eastern View side, we had Greg Hatfield all those years. I guess Greg is still up at Battlefield,
Yep.
isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
We wish him well. Miss seeing him. And, then we had Brian Lowry at Eastern View for a few years. He's up at Brentsville District. Offense coordinator Jeff Jenkins is up there with him. I think we're going to have a penalty for offsides on that kickoff, Steve, but
So Coach Lowry's the head coach of Brentsville?
at Brentsville District, yeah. And
So
Jeff Jenkins is the offensive coordinator. Well, we won't see him during the regular season, but we could see him in the postseason.
Yeah, Culpeper, Division 3.
Yeah. So, we're going back through the years, Steve. Lou Sorrentino was here, and his last season was 2001. And he went, C.D. Hilton at first. And then Randy Bove succeeded him, was around a couple years. And then it was Greg Martz for about 4. And it was Michael Williams for 4. And it was Ken Wakefield, I think, for 5. And now Eric Sherry, of course.
Coach Ford.
Ford was here. And now Coach Sherry enters his 3rd year. Came over from Charlottesville High School. New coach here for Eastern View, Don Joy. Haven't had the pleasure of meeting him in person yet. I understand he came over from Stafford.
Right. That's why.
So after that 5-yard penalty, Saul Acevedo will kick off again. Here's his kick straight ahead. Going to be fielded near the 10-yard line. And on the return here is Brock Gray. Watch out. Gray gets to the outside. He's at the 40, and making the tackle was number 20, Richard Cannon. And now, you've only got about 3 seconds left, but if you're Eastern View, Steve, could be such a thing as a Hail Mary.
It could be. That's what Culpeper shouldn't have done, give up a big kickoff return. But now you got 2.9 seconds to see what you can do here on Eastern View. You're obviously going to have to either some kind of trick play or a pass play.
Well, that would definitely rejuvenate the Eastern View team, because can you imagine them scoring here with 3 seconds remaining? Well, it's going to be a little tougher task because apparently there was a flag on the play, and now they're marking it off, and they're going to spot it at the Eastern View 40. So they would have 60 yards to go in 3 seconds if that's what they're up against here.
Yeah, I didn't see the call. Had to be a legal block.
Yeah, that's usually what you get on a return, isn't it?
Yep.
So the Blue Devils dodged that one.
You just tell the Blue Devils to keep everybody in front of you.
You would figure Caleb Green is deep in center field here. Here's Caperton, pump fake. Now he's going to keep it. He's at the 40. Picks up the block, 45. Turns upfield. Still on his feet, and they tackle him after a big gain. Got into Blue Devil territory, and yet 2 penalty flags come in. We've got some extracurricular activities after the play. And you know what? We've seen, I think, in my estimation, too many unsportsmanlike penalties already this season.
Right, and number 20, he can't be taking his helmet off for Culpeper. He'll get ejected. And let's see who the call is here. Game can't end on a defensive penalty.
Or the quarter, you mean?
Yep, the quarter, yeah.
Yeah, they're talking it over now. But we saw 2 penalty flags come in, so could be a double against one team, or it could be offsetting.
I think it's going to be offsetting. We'll see what the call is. If they call against Culpeper, that's going to give Vegas to View another shot. Because it's definitely, did the penalty happen after the clock expired? Are they going to make it effective on the kickoff?
For the third
quarter? We'll see.
I think that's how they do it.
They're talking it over. So you got two flags.
They've really had a lot to discuss here. Here it is. Unsportsmanlike Eastern View. Unsportsmanlike Culpeper. Are they going to offset?
Offset. Well, that should be the end of the first half then.
All right, here it is here. All right, so they do. That's how the half's going to end. Okay, the two teams will go to the locker room for the intermission with our score: Blue Devils 7, Cyclones nothing. It's halftime.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF.
Next week, Eastern View will be at Woodgrove, home of the Wolverines. They've been good in recent years. In fact, they won a state title not that long ago.
Right.
And then next week, Culpeper will be at James Wood, home third quarter. We mentioned that Don Joy is the first-year head coach for Eastern View. On his staff, Eli Marks, Michael Mancini, the superintendent of schools, Dr. Anthony Brads, the principal at Eastern View, Dr. Nate Bopp, and the athletic director, Austin Pickett. For Culpeper, head coach Eric Sherry has on his staff Nick Zakowski, Joe Reeser, Brandon Cobb, and Mason Sherry. Athletic trainer is David Smith, principal Daniel Soderholm, and the athletic director Danny Nas. Both these two teams now have come onto the field, and Saul Acevedo will be teeing it up for the Blue Devils to kick off to the Cyclones as we start the third quarter. The Blue Devils on top 7-0. I know that a lot of people out there are well aware of the rivalry between these two schools and playing in the annual Cannonball Classic, a game that Eastern View's never lost. Likewise, a game the Blue Devils never won. Steve, as we start this third quarter, you got to feel like the Blue Devils have a pretty good chance. Eastern View turned the ball over twice in the first half, and Culpeper had a couple drives into the red zone that stalled.
Yeah, they stalled by either penalties or turnovers. And again, this is going to be a real close game. The team, I'd say, these teams are almost evenly matched. Culpeper, I would give them an edge up front on their offensive line, and we're just going to see how the second half is going to start out.
Here's Acevedo's kick. This one fielded. Well, bobbled, then picked up with a friendly bounce. And on the return man here, this looks like Jordan Hopkins. Hopkins off to the races. He finally runs out of real estate as they force him out of bounds at near the Culpeper 30-yard line. Well, he had a little bit of difficulty getting the handle of the football, but he recovered after that. Now you're watching the replay, Steve. There's a missed tackle there. And now giving chase.
Yep. And there was just poor coverage by the Blue Devils. They're lucky they were able to run him down, or this score could have been tied right up real quick.
They marked it at the Culpeper 29. That's where the Cyclone offense will set up to start this third quarter. I guess this is Eastern View's best field position of the game.
It sure is. And see, I think Culpeper on the kickoff, when he dropped it, the coverage team kind of stopped a little bit. And then they said they're lucky.
Here's the handoff. Nice tackle made by number 50, Tristan Butler, on the ball carrier there. Did you pick up his number?
50. The ball carrier was 24.
Okay, 24, the ball carrier, Devin White.
It looked like Butler just shot out of a cannon. He was in that backfield pretty quick.
Lost yardage on the play.
Yep.
Back to the 32. We'll bring up 2nd down and 13. Tyler Caperton, your Cyclone quarterback, in the pistol. Devin White behind him. He's going to block. Now Caperton's going to keep it. He gets to the outside. He's at the 30. Breaks the tackle, goes out of bounds, shy of the 20-yard line.
You know, he's not very big, but he's a little shifty in there. Caperton is.
Let's see where they mark it. It's going to be the 25. Picked up 7. 3rd and 6 on its way. The opening minute here of this third quarter. You see the line score. Blue Devils 7, Cyclones nothing. Substitution now for the Blue Devils. Going to the sideline is Tristan Butler. Now you got Caperton back in the pistol with White behind him. There's Caperton. He's throwing. He's got a receiver open. He can't haul it in. Just a little bit outside the reach of number 7, Makai Williams. But Steve, break down the coverage out there because he was open.
He was open. I mean, and I was thinking the ref was going to blow the play dead because it looked like to me Caperton had his knee touched the ground, but they're saying his hand did, and he got back up and threw it. And I think Culpeper thought it was going to be a dead ball, but now he comes up 4th down. But he was wide open. That should have been a catchable. It should have been a catch.
Yep. All right. So here is 4th and 6 now for the Cyclones. They have it at the Blue Devil 25. Caperton remains in the pistol with Devin White behind him. White's going to block. Here's a penalty flag coming in. Complete pass near the 20-yard line. This was hauled in by Brock Gray. Let's check the call.
Yeah, it's going to be Culpeper taking over in downs, I think.
Holding, Eastern View, decline. Turnover on downs then, and Blue Devils will go on offense for the first time in the third. Well, Steve, I guess they might be really thankful for how that played out because the Cyclones took over here on that nice kickoff return, had outstanding field position to start things at the Blue Devil 29, and they got turned back.
And that was the bend but don't break philosophy for the Culpeper defense right there, but also luck because that should have been a touchdown on that 3rd down play with Eastern View.
Yeah.
Just couldn't haul it in.
A couple of occasions tonight. There was one in the first half where Caperton's pass was right on the money, but the receiver was not able to haul it in. And they snapped this to Riley Vineyard. Straight ahead he goes from the 25 out to about the 28. Well, localsportshistory.com is the community sports site that you are building organically. Check out local sports information or contribute your submissions at localsportshistory.com.
All right. See now, if I was Culpeper now, I'd be using your big offensive line, start wearing on that defensive line of Eastern View. You just got to count for where number 9 is.
Here's a little inside reverse handoff to Caleb Green that's going nowhere. Cyclones were all over that. Well, had a couple players in on the tackle there. It's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, number 9 was in on that play. They didn't account for him, and there was a slow developing play right there by the Blue Devils.
Brings up a 3rd and 8. You know our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Here is 3rd down and 8 for the Blue Devils. Lentz throwing, incomplete, intended for number 6, Jossie Shiflett. That'll bring 4th down. That'll bring on the Culpeper punting team.
Mark, and one thing I just noticed that Lentz is doing on a quarterback. When he throws, he's jumping. You got to keep your feet set. He rolled out there to his right and just jumped and threw the ball. You can't do that. If you want to put some pace behind that ball, you got to be able to plant your feet and throw it.
All right, punter standing back there at the 15-yard line. Here's the kick. This is going to be a short kick. Let's check the roll. Takes somewhat of a Blue Devil roll, and they'll down it at the 36 of Eastern View. Eastern View on offense at its own 36. Second possession of the third quarter. Our score, you're looking at it there with 9:24 to play in this third quarter. This broadcast brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 540-547-3673. We mentioned that last week Eastern View was home to John Hanley. Culpeper was on the road at Western Albemarle. Now these two teams face off tonight in the annual Cannonball Classic. Been a tight game. Penalty flag yet comes in again. We've had a bunch of those, and now they're throwing more.
Yeah, it's fighting again. And
there's just too much going on after the play is dead.
And they got to be, he's got to, Riley's turning and telling 12 to knock it off for Culpeper. 12 was Jaden Carter. And now there's...
Looking at the Cyclones players trying to get the fans involved in this one. Pretty good crowd on hand for both sides here tonight.
But there's an injured Culpeper player.
Yeah.
And it looked like, it was the initial penalty was probably going to be a legal block on the Eastern View, okay? And the number 20, it looks for Culpeper, is the one who's hurt, and that would be
Richard Cannon.
Yep.
So what about the penalty flags that came in, Steve? The Zebras are all huddled up talking about it.
Yep.
There's a lot going on after the play.
There was. The first was the penalty, and it looked like it was going to be a hold or a block in the back against Eastern View. And then all of a sudden, the play was dead and getting up, and then some pleasantries, I guess, were exchanged and pushing and shoving, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 flags on the field. So you better break out the tide. You're going to have to be washing a little bit of laundry after tonight.
Unleashed a fury of flags.
So, and Cannon's up. So now it's going to be, it's getting chippy, and that's when your coaching staff has got to get a hold of your kids and say, hey, look, this has got to stop. They're hurting us. They're killing us. And Coach Sherry's out there, and he's waiting to.
Well, you certainly don't want your penalty yards to surpass your offensive yards, do you?
No. And it's going to be interesting to see what the play is going to be, what the eventual call is going to be.
That's what Steve was talking about. You look right there. Good job, camera work there, because look at the flags. You see 3 there, and then there's 1 back here inside the 35.
There's 5.
And then there's another one. I think all the flags were dispensed.
I think every official's here. All right.
Face mask
against.
We got something else coming up. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike Eastern View, unsportsmanlike Culpeper. So I would think that would be the face mask would be assessed. That penalty.
Yeah, face mask against Eastern View because the running back was pulling the defender's face mask. So that's going to be tacked on, and then do
the unsportsmanlike penalties offset each other.
Offset. So they're going to mark the ball back.
That's Coach Eric Sherry right there talking to the officials. And is that Mark Dennis, an assistant coach there? Remember when he played for the Blue Devils?
Yep. Eli Marks used to play for the Blue Devils.
Mentioned their assistants, Nick Zakowski, Joe Reeser, Brandon Cobb, Mason Sherry. Now they mark off that face mask penalty.
Yep. There's a lot of laundry tonight, guys.
Yeah, you'd wonder if somebody keeping stats, that would be an ugly statistic to show up in the box score.
It would. Now you got what? First and 21.
All the way back to the 21-yard line. I think the line of scrimmage had been to 36. Here's the handoff. Here, running back accelerating through that left side, gets out to about the 34. That was Jordan Hopkins, I believe.
And now what's going to happen is here, the Blue Devils, what they just got to do here is just don't let, they got to be sure tackling. They got to, when they hit somebody, they got to make sure to bring them down. In Eastern View, what they got to do is just kind of relax a little bit and let the game come to them and quit trying to force some things.
All right. Here we go. Second down. About 12. Caperton going to be sacked for a loss. Coming in and making the tackle for that loss is Riley Vineyard, number 34.
And he came in there, Mark, quick. Right at the snap, he was in there. And like I said, he gets your paws on you.
Here he comes.
You're going down there.
Straight up the middle. And he went unblocked there. Shot through the gap. Yep. Nobody got a hand on him or a pad on him.
It was like, I thought it was a stunt, maybe up there, a twist. But he just came right untouched. And that was a big mistake there for Eastern View.
Lost 6 yards on the play. Brings up third down and about 17.
Now, if you're Culpeper, you want to make sure you keep the ball, you the receiver in front of you, and don't give up and don't commit any dumb mistakes.
And to really load up that left side with 3 receivers. Here comes Caperton, runs away from the pressure, has a receiver out there near the 40-yard line. That was Elijah Bland on the reception. And he's out to about the 38. So he picked up 9. That would bring up 4th and 8.
And it looks like they're still out. I think they're going to go for it.
Well, dropping back deep for the Blue Devils is Caleb Green.
Yeah, they're going to punt.
And on the punt, it looks like the punter is number 9, Hayden Lovelace.
Yeah, he's the one who transferred from Battlefield to here.
Did he?
Yep.
Well, Lovelace is going to stand at about the 22. Caleb Green would like to return this one if he can. Good snap, good blocking, kicks it from the 25. Caleb Green says get away from it, but it's going to take a cyclone roll, and they're going to down it, mark it dead there at the 18-yard line.
And Mark, I just noticed something, and I wonder if the Culpeper staff can pick up on it. He's got a very slow, deliberate style when he punts. You can put a punt block on and you can pretty much get pretty close to him on blocking the punt. So I just want to, for future reference, see if Culpeper might try to go after the punter.
All right. Culpeper take back over on offense at their own 18, up 7-0. That was our score at the intermission. This broadcast brought to you in part by Found & Sons, more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530 from the 18. Blue Devils try to go to the outside, and the running back makes a cut to the inside. That was, I'm going to say, it looks like it was Ashton Cox. Look at this penalty flag coming in. And you got a player grimacing in pain there. That's number 20, Richard Cannon.
I think, again, it might be, let me see. Here it is.
Right, watch him here. He got tossed to the ground.
Yeah, and
then wrestled to the ground.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit of the replay there where you can see that.
He's got a cramp. That's what he's got.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's not serious, but it's painful.
It hurts.
Yeah.
So is this going to be against the Blue Devils or going to be Eastern View? Let's see what the... Because, he was being tackled to the ground, and it looked like they're going to mark this off. The official.
They've been busy tonight.
Yeah.
Here it is. Unsportsmanlike against Eastern View.
Dead ball, 15 yards.
Steve, if there's one thing that every team needs to either eliminate or completely abstain from, it's got to be unsportsmanlike penalties.
Right.
Because that's all conduct.
Yeah, it's conduct or wolfing, it doesn't make you a better football player. You're hurting your team. And that's what Eastern View right now, they're young. and they're shooting themselves in the foot. And
Yeah.
this is something, they're going to have to shore up.
Exactly. Now they mark it off. And it looks like is the Blue Devil player still down on the field?
Oh, yeah, yes, he is. He's got cramps. He needs to get some. Gatorade in him.
How about some pickle juice?
That too.
It's very tasty.
Yeah, dill pickle, not bread and butter.
Yeah, not real tasty, but I'll tell you one thing.
Coconut water does the same thing.
That's tastier
Yeah.
than pickle juice. You don't hear too many people would all have a round of pickle juice for everybody. But I tell you what, it really does work well for cramps.
Yeah, vinegar, apple cider vinegar does too.
Yeah, and so you're, a lot of the same probably ingredients there. All right, and they have moved it out to the 40-yard line. And after all that, there are a lot of delays here with these penalties.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see anyone get hurt. And all right, here's the snap this time. We got a different running back. He tries the right side. That was number 16, Brendan Stover. First time we've called his number tonight.
Yep. And now Culpeper's going to be content to keep running it until Easterview really shows how to stop it. But right now, and I think the 7-0 is not going to win this ball game. There's going to have to. Easterview is going to either score to tie it up, or Culpeper is going to have to score another one to come out of here with a win.
But, I was thinking the same thing, Steve. I think if you're Culpeper, your strategy would be to grind it out, keep possession,
Yep.
and don't turn it over because, the onus is on the other team. They've got to score.
Yep.
All right, and this time we've got this direct snap here to number 44, Cameron Marduz. And that pays off. Picked up a few yards, bring up a third down, a manageable third down, and about 2.
And again, that's where, Culpeper, if they keep running, they can keep grinding down this clock.
Exactly. I mean, we're approaching midway. Well, we just did. Surpass the midway point of this third quarter. Under 6 minutes to play now in the third. 7-0 our score. That was the score at the intermission. But I think it's pretty obvious that Culpeper's strategy can be ball control, don't have to be in a hurry, and if you're Eastern View, when you get the ball back, you got to stay disciplined, of course. Now we got another penalty flag down. This will be a 5-yarder against one of these two teams.
And now got 44 is hurt. He went down.
Yeah, you can see he was kind of twisting, being twisted.
And there's a flag. Let's see what the call is. False start.
Yep, 5:34 to play here in the third quarter. This broadcast brought to you in part by K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371. Now, the injured player is Cameron Marduz, number 44.
And he's had some productive runs for the Blue Devils this evening. So, but right now, Mark, it's very humid outside. It's warm, humid, and you can see why they're cramping up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the sort of thing you see at this early on in the season, isn't it?
Sure is. Yep.
And of course, it could be hot through September and maybe even hot in October.
I would just like to do one game in our whole illustrious career we've been in the snow. I would like for maybe.
You mean like a John Madden type conditions, like in the mud?
Mud, the snow, cold Friday
mud,
evening.
The snow.
25 degrees. And
well, when we were growing up, we used to see the NFC North with Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit, and all those games that were played outside in up north in the snow and all the bad weather.
Yeah.
Until the team started going in the domes. Green Bay still plays at Lambeau Field. Chicago still plays at Soldier Stadium.
Yeah.
But Minnesota and Detroit both have domes. Yeah.
And but it looks like he might have turned the ankle.
Yeah. I was sort of watching that as it was happening, and it looked like it wasn't going to end well. Looks like they've got it sorted out now, and when the whistle blows, we're going to have Culpeper looking at 3rd and 7 from their own 43. All right, ready to go back to action here. Here's the snap. It's Lentz. Rolls to his right. Now looks to his left. Got a receiver out there. It's Caleb Green. Green's got it. He's in space. Breaking tackles and all the way down to the Eastern View 40-yard line. And would you believe I don't see any laundry on the field?
Yep, that was a good play call. Good catch by Green. The only thing I'm kind of watch Caleb right here. He's kind of playing a little loosey with that football.
Well, you talked about that, not protecting it. But he got away with it that time, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he took a shot on with a ball that could easily come out. Against better, more physical teams, it will. So when you get that ball, you need to switch it to your outside hand, or if you can create it on your inside, put two hands around it.
All right, 1st and 10 Blue Devils at the Cyclones 40. Here's Vineyard to the outside, breaks a tackle, turns upfield. Penalty flag coming in as he gets down all the way to the 25-yard line. That's a 15-yard play if the play stands.
It's going to be against Culpeper. It's going to be a hold here, I think, on the edge.
And that's usually what you suspect when a play unfolds like that. When it's that successful, well, you might have a holding involved. Let's check the call coming up right here. And you called it, Steve, holding against the offense. Both teams tonight penalized far too much.
Yep.
I know it's early in the season, but really it's
their second game. The penalties, you shouldn't have as many in the second game as you would have first game.
Well, the ones that bother me are the conduct penalties.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the. All right, I lost my head again, and I hurt my team. And you've got to keep cooler heads out there.
That's when we got to have good senior leadership to get these, the younger guys in line.
Exactly. Well, the clock continues to run. 4:35 here in the third quarter. Our score remains unchanged at 7-0. That was the score at the intermission. And now Culpeper backed up with a penalty. They have it at the 44-yard line. Vineyard back on the run again. He gets those lost yards back and determined effort. And I think this time they won't be bringing it back.
No, but there was still, a little bit. They ran the exact same play, so they're saying, "Hey, we found something we can run against it, and to make them, till they try to stop it." It's just right now that Culpeper's kind of owned possession of this whole game as far as offensive possession, but the score is not indicative of that.
No, it's not. And but so true. Now at the 34-yard line, 2nd down and 4 here for the Blue Devils. The snap, it's Lentz. He's going to throw it over the middle. Got a receiver. This one is caught by number 5, Mason Elkins, and a Blue Devil first down.
That was a good play, good catch by Elkins. Watch.
Yeah, here's the replay coming up right here.
He just slides right over the middle. He just makes a little right there he is, and he finds him right there.
And Lentz didn't need a lot of time.
No.
He set up pretty quickly. He knew exactly where he was going to throw it. And he hit the target. All right, first down Blue Devils. They have it at the 19.
So they're in the red zone now. This is where you got to come away with some points.
We got a timeout being taken by Culpeper, their first of 3 here in this third quarter. Well, our timeout sponsor is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial health of our members and of the Culpeper community. Visit them at uvacreditunion.org. And, of course, our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. And now you're getting a look at the Cyclone cheerleaders, Steve, addressing a pretty large crowd tonight. And I think if you look across the way, it's nice to see that the opposing bleachers are filled in.
Yeah, but it's a big game because everyone is suspected this could be Culpeper's year to, get their first win against Eastern View, and if they do, the sidelines across the way are going to go bananas.
Well, I've often thought since I was a kid, what's better than high school football on Friday night?
Nothing.
I can't think of a thing.
I can't either.
Yeah. All right. Here come the Blue Devils. 1st and 10. This is Vineyard again, up the middle more on that left side behind the left guard, and he picked up at least 5 yards. And that's the sort of thing Vineyard can give you just about any time he carries the ball. Well, Steve, they've been able to show him off tackle and then getting in space and making the most of it.
Yeah, he's just been he's the workhorse. I mean, he's just a good, hard-nosed football player.
He's the kind of guy that you want on your team.
Yes, and a leader, too.
Yeah.
And see, right now, I think Culpeper's starting to wear on Eastern View, especially up front. You know, because Culpeper's got a good offensive line. I've been impressed with them, how they've been able to block this evening.
Exactly. That. Here's Lentz going out there in the backfield.
Colton Green.
Yeah, Colton Green, nowhere to go because the Cyclones snuffed that one out. Well, they got away from what was working for them there with the runs. Yeah.
Well, you know, you're trying to keep them guessing, but
Oh, sure.
I wouldn't do like a little out pass, flare out pass like that to the sideline. I'd be sitting there, play action Vineyard up the middle, and then maybe send, drag route and send them into the end zone.
Yeah.
So I mean, they I think basically too, and I think the quarterback Lentz kind of telegraphed it too. He was locking in, and the defender can see that, and they made the appropriate play.
3rd and 9 here. Here's Vineyard going to the outside, gets behind his blockers, does a great job of following them. He had like a small convoy in front of him. He just got behind them and got to first down yardage.
He just kept pushing his players.
Yeah. And he knew exactly where he had to get the first down.
There's a first down.
And that's the sort of thing that's really, it's really a high percentage call for the Blue Devils, Steve, every time they run a play like that.
And if Blue Devils were to score here, that's going to make it very hard on Eastern View because they've shown some brilliance. At times they can move the football, but then other times they showed their youth.
Yeah.
So
all right, well, the Blue Devils, the ball is spotted just inside the 10-yard line where it's 1st and goal with 2:12 to play here in the 3rd quarter. And they send Caleb Green. He's over to the right in the slot. Ball is up in the air, and they almost turned this one over. They were lucky that Lentz was able to bounce on it.
Yeah, that was a bad snap. That was the center's fault right there because it kind of, I think, hit him in the butt. We'll see.
He lost 3 yards.
Yeah, there it is. It popped right up.
And he got a pretty lucky bounce his way, did Lentz.
Yeah.
He didn't have much time to recover it and take possession.
They dodged the bullet there.
Yeah, all right, but he did lose 3 yards, so it'll be 2nd and goal now from the 12. All right, what are you going to dial up here, Steve? You going back to Vineyard?
I'll be going back to Vineyard. Run,
They fake it to Vineyard, and then an inside handoff to, I believe it was Caleb Green, and that was for naught. So now they're going to be looking at a 3rd down and long. Well, I mean, it's 3rd and goal, but they've got to get.
You got to take a shot in the end zone. I'm serious. You got to keep the foot on the gas, and that was inside handoff. To me, that's too much inside handoff trap. Get it to the players that are running, doing the job. Vineyard throwing it to Caleb Green.
Yeah.
But trying to do these inside reverses and
too much.
It's a little bit too much right now.
All right, here's 3rd and goal from the 14. Now Lentz is going to throw it. Here comes the pressure. He throws to the end zone, incomplete. Over the outstretched hands of the intended receiver, Caleb Green. I think he'll come on for the field goal. Saul Acevedo will try to tack on 3 points. Well, Steve, this happened twice where these drives in the first half in the red zone were stalled. Now, the Blue Devils had moved it down to the Cyclone 9. Then they went in reverse twice where they lost 3 yards to the 12. Then they lost 2 to the 14. And now the incomplete pass sets up the field goal. Unable to punch it in for 6.
Yeah, they got to come away with some points.
From the 21, this will be a 31-yard field goal attempt by Saul Acevedo. Here's his kick, and it's up and no good. Well, he certainly had enough leg behind it, had the distance. He must have been off. Let's check that one again.
I thought it might have fallen short. Let's see. The snap was late.
There's this. Oh, he's got plenty. No, it was just off.
Off to the right.
Yeah, no good. 21-yard field goal attempt is no good. And so the Cyclones, Steve, come away, even though they were their defense was on the field for a long time. And you talked about the offensive line of Culpeper kind of wearing them down some, but then Culpeper comes away with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, again, and so now you're going to have to ask your defense to step up here and stop Eastern View.
39 seconds remaining here in this third quarter. Anybody's game.
Anybody's game, you're absolutely right. And they, in Eastern View wasn't going to roll over. I can tell you they don't want to be the first team to lose.
Here's the handoff to the running back up the middle. Maybe picked up a yard. Let's see, pick up his jersey number, Steve. Oh, yeah, it's number 1. That's Jordan Hopkins. He's probably carried the most tonight for this team. Give him a yard.
Yeah.
Brings up 2nd and 9, and clock ticking, 15 seconds and counting here in this third quarter. I think both teams look like they're going to be content to let this one run down. No hurry for the Cyclone offense.
Right.
And that's exactly what they're going to do as these final seconds tick off to end the third quarter. All right. We have officially played 3 of 4 quarters here at Cyclone Stadium. And at the end of the third, our score remains 7-0 Blue Devils. We'll take a quick break and come back for the fourth quarter right after this.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF.
All right, well, welcome back to our broadcast and the start of the fourth quarter at Cyclone Stadium, which shows the Cyclones in possession. They have it 2nd down and 8 from their 22. All right, rolling to his left, looking downfield, throws short, got a receiver. It's number 7, Mekhi Williams. Williams in the open field, and they finally tackle him out of bounds near midfield. That's a pickup of 28 yards and a Cyclone first down. Here's the replay.
Yep. Should have missed tackle there, and then, of course, and that Cannon, he's got a cramp again.
Yeah, the ball right at midfield.
That's a big play again.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, you're seeing the same player.
Yep.
Richard Cannon, junior defensive back and running back.
But see, that's where I think you're that close to your own sideline. Roll over to the sideline, send somebody else in so you can play.
Steve was saying on with the show. This is it.
Yeah, soccer, just load them to green, take them off to the side. All right, looks like we're getting ready to start up.
Yep. And now 1st and 10 Cyclones from midfield. They fake it to Hopkins, and up the middle goes the quarterback, Caperton. Big run, back-to-back big runs by the Cyclones. Caperton gets it inside the Blue Devil 35. Really giving the team something to cheer about. Here's the play action. They fake it to Hopkins. Straight ahead he goes.
And a lot of the Blue Devils they're getting tired now. They were just standing. That defensive line wasn't making any progress.
Well, you've got some life now injected into the Cyclone offense, Steve. Back-to-back big runs. 1st and 10 now at the Blue Devil 33. Here's Caperton. He's going to throw it. Downfield he goes. Going up for it, and it looks like he hauled it in. He did. Steve, it almost looked like the defender gave up on that play. Let's watch this one again.
Yep. First, let's see what the.
He's got time. There's the block. He picks up the block, throws downfield, going up for it. Ball is bobbled, and then the defender was able to bring it in.
Yep.
And defending on the play was number 7, Colton Green. And just like that, 3 successive big plays, and now the Cyclones are threatening to score for the first time tonight. They have it at the Blue Devils' 6-yard line.
See again, big plays, and Culpeper's giving up 3 of them right here.
All right, the Cyclones have found some rhythm on this possession. They get back to Hopkins. There goes Hopkins into the end zone for the touchdown. If they signal it, they haven't done it yet, have they?
He knocked it maybe out of bounds. If that's a touchback.
Well, I was saying it was a touchdown, but they never did signal it was a touchdown.
He punched it out of his hand. Did he break the plane? And they're saying no.
This is wow! I did not see that coming.
It's a touchback. Oh, it's a block in the back.
Okay, so that takes away that. Well, see, there's no penalty flags down. You don't see any.
I don't see any. I thought maybe because he punched it out of the back of the end zone that it would have been a touchback for the Blue Devils, but
instead, they bring it back to the 16. A lot of scrimmage was the 6. Yep. And it looked like he was in all the way. There was no question about that. Now you have to do is break the plane. But they had a penalty flag we didn't see. They go back to Hopkins near side here. And this time he runs into Riley Vineyard. And he gets maybe a couple. And that's it. Up to the 14. Vineyard trying to get back to his huddle. And I think they gave him a little nudge to say, you're in the wrong place here.
So again, the bend but don't break, but Blue Devils were recipient of a lucky break right there.
Yeah, I think the Blue Devils should be thankful for that penalty because it looked like Eastern View was a point away from tying this one up. There goes Hopkins again. Hopkins makes a cut. They get him by the jersey and wrestle him down.
That's not a horse collar. He just grabbed him by the jersey.
Got inside the 10. Let's check the spot. Should bring up 3rd down. Looks like they've got it at the 8. So he picked up 6.
Yep, you can grab the jersey, you just can't grab it around the collar.
Yeah, of course you can grab the jersey.
So what's the play stoppage here for? Oh, they're trying to get the play in.
And see, I think it's 3rd down, but yeah, it is 3rd down. Now they've got it fixed. It's going to be 3rd and goal now from the 8.
Taking a lot of time.
All right, here's Capron, rolls to his left. He's going to keep it. There he goes. Makes a cut, and he's in from 8 yards out. Eastern View is on the scoreboard for the first time tonight and a point after from tying this game. Here comes the replay. Call it, Steve.
Here it is. Caperton's making the run, and they just over-pursued him right there. Touchdown, Cyclone, touchdown.
7-6 our score, 8:21 to play in the 4th quarter.
Now how big is this extra point going to be?
It's huge, and it'll be Beckett Capolini.
Who's a good field goal kicker.
He sure is, and the holder will be Wyatt James, number 12. So Capolini on to tie this one up. The snap, the hold, the kick. Up and good. 7-7. Tied up here in the Cannonball Classic with 8:21 to go. Well, I'll say this. One of the more closely competitive Cannonball Classics we've seen.
Exactly.
In a long time.
And, in Culpeper, it's a tie ball game. Culpeper's got to regroup here. They get the ball. They can drive it on the Cyclones. But they can't. They're their own worst enemy tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we talked about in the first half where they had the ball down the red zone and the drive stalled. Well, the last possession they get down close and all of a sudden they start backing up.
Yeah, I mean they get too cute. As a euphemism, they get too cute with the ball. They're not. The play calling You got to run the plays that got you there. And then you get down the red zone, you're trying to do too many, inside reverses or, they're not going to the bread and butter. So now Culpeper's got to see if they can put together a drive and come away with some points.
Yeah, Capolini will tee it up.
And how big was that missed field goal on Culpeper?
Could loom very large. Yeah.
We could go into an overtime. Wouldn't that be fitting?
Well, that could happen. Okay, here's Capolini's kick. This one's going to be fielded near the 5-yard line. And the return man, I believe that was number 20? Yeah, Richard Cannon again.
He's cramping up, and I don't know why you keep putting him in there. I mean, he slid right down because he started cramping up again.
Yeah, he slid down, and I guess the reason he stays out there, he must be one of their better players.
Well, I'm not saying he's not a good player, but right now he's suffering from cramps, and he's back as your return man. And as soon as he hit like the 20, he just slid right down because his legs were cramping up.
All right, so Culpeper, average field position starting at the 22. 8 minutes, 17 seconds to play here in the fourth quarter. We're tied up, 7 apiece. And let's see what the Culpeper does on this drive. They go to Riley Vineyard. Vineyard's going to be hit for 20. Bounces off one tackler, and then about a horde of black jerseys. About 6 of them finally converge on him and tackle him. But we've got a penalty flag that came in at the end of that play.
Yeah, but it's going to be a late hit against the Cyclones. The fans are going. And their fans are going up pretty upset. So it's going to be a 15-yarder.
Well, we've had, unfortunately, a slew of unsportsmanlike penalties here tonight.
Yep. And fans, these should be fans that don't look at taking it kindly.
No, they're not taking it kindly at all. Oh, if you could hear the things we're hearing.
But it was a late hit. I saw them coming in. I mean, they just...
Well, when it just seemed to us that it was pretty obvious that you got to make that call.
Yeah.
Well, they mark it off, and now the spot's the 39. So the Blue Devils on one play went from the 22 to the 39. And they got a little breathing room there. They hand it off to Caleb Green again in the backfield on what I would call an inside reverse, and he may have picked up a yard. That's it.
Well, Easton View has figured that play out, and it's got to be the way Culpeper's lining up. They might, and Easton View's picking up on it that, hey, this is going to be an inside reverse because they're probably seeing which way Caleb Green is leaning. So really, right now, you gotta really sell a play action. I'd go to a pass.
And the clock is running. 7:30 to play here in the fourth. All tied up, 7 apiece.
2nd and 10. So
yeah, certainly the crowd is into it now, aren't they?
Yep.
On 2nd down, Lentz to the left. Runs into a tackler in the backfield. Dropped for a loss. Making the tackle was number 44, Campbell Guido.
And right now, all the momentum's on Eastern View's side right now. Culpeper is like, they look like they're running in quicksand on that play.
Well, they looked like they kind of got away from what had been working for them, Steve.
Yep. Yeah, they just run it right up the middle. That's where they've been getting most of their yards. Now you're 3rd and long, and you've got to throw.
Yeah, you got 3rd and 15 now from the 34. And the one thing, if you're Culpeper, you can't afford to turn the ball over, that's for sure. Now they're throwing. Got a little action, physicality between these two players, but it's a no call. The pass was intended for Caleb Green.
Yeah, but it was the ball had too much air on it, not enough pace, and that was a good defensive call. Now Culpeper's going to be forced to punt. And see, right now the momentum now falls in the favor of Eastern View, and it would be, I hate to say it, would be fitting if Eastview came down scoring, the snake bites again, Culpeper.
Yeah, all right. Well, here's the punt from about the 25. Now this is going to take a nice Culpeper roll. Wow, all the way down to near the 20-yard line.
But we saw last time Eastview in 3 plays, pricked up pretty good yardage. They've got to defensively, Culpeper's got to figure out how to stop Caperton. He's not a big guy, and I don't think he's overly fast. He's just shifty. And they need to get some pressure on him, and also they need to see if they can come up with a turnover. But they got to be more aggressive, I think, on defense.
I think Caperton's really found his groove here in this fourth quarter.
I do too.
Let's see where they marked that. It was at the 17. It was an excellent kick.
Yeah. Well, it was short. They got the great, Culpeper roll. Now it's gut check time for both teams.
All right, you have 6 minutes, 19 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. We're tied up, 7 apiece. Eastern View back on the field, this time starting with less than average field position at the 17. Culpeper shows blitz and then back off, and they go back to the run here to Eastern View. Try that right side, and they stack him up near the 20-yard line and push him back. And let's check the ball carrier. That was...
the player's going to have to come off because he's lost his helmet.
Was it Mackay? No, was it Mackay Williams?
No, it was number... Looks like it says number 9.
No.
But anyway, Culpeper was lucky they didn't get a penalty because one of the Culpeper players threw the helmet right in front of the official. We saw it was Easterview. He kicked it or pushed it away. And
all right, Caperton in the pistol. That's Jordan Hopkins behind him.
Yep.
Hopkins gets the call. Takes a pretty big hit after he crossed the 20-yard line. Tackled at the 22. I think we're going to bring up about 3rd and 5. Let's check this here.
Yep. See, Culpeper's got to have a big stop here. Because I wouldn't expect Easterview would go for it on 4th down this deep.
All right.
3rd and 5, you called it, Mark.
All right, 3rd and 5. Let's say big down for both teams at this point in the game. Here's Caperton. They fake it, he keeps it. Here's Caperton. He may have enough for a 1st down. We'll check the spot. In the meantime, we'll tell you that localsportshistory.com is the community sports site that you are building organically. Check out local sports information or contribute your submissions at localsportshistory.com. And you know that that's a 1st down there.
I didn't think he picked it up.
Yeah, he had to get to the 27, and he got to the 28. And the clock runs. And Steve, you remember the overtime procedure for the regular season game? How
they started the 10-yard line.
Will they play it out till they have a winner?
Yep.
All right. Hopkins, the ball carrier. They wrap him up near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, what happens in a case of a tie, the Cannonball would stay with Eastern View.
Yep. That's true.
But no, they would go to overtime.
All right. So now from the 30-yard line, it's 2nd down and 8. Substitutions coming in. Well, you know our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
And you know what, Mark, if it were to get to overtime, I'd give advantage to Eastern View because of their kicking game. Their Capellini.
Yep. Likely so. Caperton's going to keep it. He bounces to the outside. He gets behind some blockers. Breaks a tackle. There goes Caperton in the open field. Makes a cut. And they're going to finally tackle him inside the Culpeper 40-yard line. We were just talking about Caperton finding his groove here in the fourth quarter.
Yep. I mean,
there he goes again. Here's the replay. Watch this.
Yep.
Cuts upfield. Breaks a tackle. Now he gets behind a blocker. Makes another cut. Straight and then upfield he goes. It takes 2 or 3 people to tackle him in the open field there.
And he's not showing big speed. He's just playing off his blockers like a good football player that should.
Yeah, I think the psychological advantage right now belongs to Eastern View, Steve.
Yep.
They have it on the Culpeper at the Culpeper 38. Caperton going to throw near side, going up and making the catch. is number 2, Brock Gray, then tackled immediately by Tyler McKnight. All right, this broadcast brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 540-547-3673. Clock ticking, 2:38 and counting. Fourth quarter action, 7-7 our score. Eastern View on the move. And as Steve has pointed out, momentum seems to be on the Eastern View side at this point. Here comes some pressure. They fake it. Caperton's going to keep it. Off that left tackle, breaks the tackle, spins his way down for yardage.
Yeah, they're trying to arm tackle him. Watch. You know, he keeps cutting through there where he's running. They're just trying to arm tackle him. Watch right here. See, he comes in. Missed tackle there.
There's a left arm on him, a second miss, and then coming over and making the tackle finally. Picked up yardage, picked up a first down. Ball's at the 21-yard line. Got to get the spots in and tell you this broadcast brought to you in part by Found & Sons. More than a respected funeral home, they support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530. From the 21-yard line, 1st and 10, low snap. Caperton hands off to Jordan Hopkins. Hopkins tackled near the 20, 1-yard pickup on the play.
And a flag came in. See if it's going against the Blue Devils or it'll be a hold against.
It was right there at the 25-yard line where usually you get a bad block, don't you?
Yeah.
Let's see what the call is here. And the referee says, holding,
Yep.
Eastern View. All right, as they mark this one off, I'll tell you that one of our part-time, or actually sponsors, is K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies, now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. 825-8371. Steve, this clock has gone by so quickly, I felt like I had to rush through that because these two teams are running the ball, and the clock is really, this time has gone quickly. Here's Caperton. He's got time. Now we got a penalty flag coming in again. Reverses direction, looks downfield. Now he throws short and threw it incomplete.
So there's going to be a hold. It's going to be another holding call against Eastern View here.
Is that back-to-back holding?
Yep, back-to-back.
That'll hurt you. That stings.
It does sting. And it's from the spot, too, so now you got, like I said, a minute 23 mark. You know, Culpeper's now been a beneficiary of 2 holding calls against Eastern View. Now can Culpeper turn the tide here and force a turnover?
Well, Eastern View had started this drive with less than average field position from its own 17. They got some big plays that unfolded. They moved it all the way down to the Culpeper 21, but now with the back-to-back penalties, they're looking at possession now at the Culpeper 41.
And they got 3 trips out here, so see.
Yeah, they load up this left side. Caperton is going to throw over the middle. He's got a receiver. This one's caught by Brock Gray. Broke the first tackle and gets down to about the 26-yard line. Pick up a 15 yards on the play.
All right. Got the second penalty back now.
And the clock runs, a minute 4 and counting here in the fourth. And you talk about it, Steve, if they were to play for a field goal, they do have a dandy of a kicker in Beckett Capolini.
Yep, and I think that's what they're probably going to try to do. They're going to need to get about 10 yards closer, though.
All right, here's Caperton. He's got time. Over the middle he goes. This one incomplete. Defending on the play was Mason Elkins and the intended receiver, Brock Gray. That stops the clock with 44 seconds. Here's a replay on this.
Yep.
Cyclones pick up the pressure again.
Just good play by Elkins. He's able to.
Yeah.
Lucky he could have. He turned his head back at the last second because he could have been called for pass interference.
Because there was some contact?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And he was facing towards the receiver, not looking back towards the ball. See, now you know they're throwing it. I'd be Culpeper, but Culpeper don't really want to blitz, so they were showing it.
Well, they pick it up to the Cyclones, and now Caperton rolls out of it. Down. Oh, this is wide open receiver who's out of bounds. He ran out of real estate out there, Steve.
Yep.
The pass was intended, I believe, Mackay Williams, number 7.
Now it's 4th down. Now what do you do?
Well, are you in field goal range? Let's check the spot. They have the ball at the, 28?
Yep.
All right, so that's 45-yard field goal attempt if you tried it here, right?
Yep. Well, they're going to call timeout.
Yeah, I think you both teams really need to assess what's going on here.
4th and 7.
No, it's more than that. It's 4th and like 15 or 16.
Okay, that's right. 4th and 16.
And the ball, I had it at 26. Now it looks like it's at the 28. So if you add on 7 for the spot, that's 45-yard field goal attempt if you try it that way.
It's well within his range, though. I've seen him kick them out here in practice. So,
well, it is a timeout on the field, and our timeout sponsor is UVA Community Credit Union, strengthening the financial health of our members and of the Culpeper community, UVAcreditunion.org. And, of course, our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. All right, they're going to spot it at the 35. It'll be a 45-yard field goal attempt by Beckett Capolini. And the ever-important holder, of course, is Wyatt James. And your long snapper, very critical here, too. And I wanted to pick up his number, Stephen. I didn't see that.
Don't rough the kicker, but I'd sell out here and try to block it. Put your biggest people up front.
45-yard field goal attempt coming up here momentarily. Here's the snap, the hold. His kick is blocked. Well, they're going to try to advance it. Can you advance a blocked kick? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, but it's still going to be Culpeper's ball.
Wow. Well, here it is, replay.
You had to drive it.
It was a high snap. You got it down. The Blue Devils got penetration back there, and I believe it was number 7, Colton Green, who got a hand on the ball to block it. Yeah.
So good play by Colton Green. Got a hand on it, and it looked like I thought maybe an Eastern View player kind of like threw it down there when it got to him. But after the block, it hit the ground. But again, Culpeper's got 31.6 seconds where they got dialed up here to see if they can do a score.
Yeah, well, I think we're probably headed to overtime.
Yep.
Of course, anything can happen.
That's true.
But 7-7. Well, this game has been as closely contested as any Cannonball Classic we've had, except maybe for the game in 2009. A complete pass out there to Mardus, who's tackled immediately. Clock runs down to 15 seconds. Line of scrimmage now to 27. And it looks like one of the teams may have called timeout.
Yeah,
so I think, Steve, if you're Culpeper, I know you want to move down the field and everything, but you have to be careful because you could throw a pick 6.
Exactly. Do you play for overtime, or do you and take your chances there? If I said goes overtime, it's advantage Eastern View just because of Capolini and it's being able to kick. Now, if it does go to overtime, the other issue is the other key is you want the ball second. And they start from the 10-yard line. So the college is at 25.
And you have 4 downs to score.
4 downs to score.
I mean, if you don't score on your first possession and the other team does, they win.
They win.
If you do score in the first possession, the other team has to score on its. And this is Caleb Green running the ball for the Blue Devils out across the 30. Stop the clock at about 11 seconds to play here in this final fourth quarter. Or final quarter of regulation, I should say, because it certainly looks like we're headed to overtime.
See, now here's where a good time to do a trick play, old hook and ladder or something like that. With Green and, Colton Green and his brother. But you got to be able to make sure, and you're going to have to throw it, and you're going to have to, you call timeout. Culpeper.
Yeah, I mean, the ball's at the 32-yard line. You'd have to go 68 yards because how many, 11 seconds, you have time for what? One play, maybe two?
Maybe two. You have to he's going to have to play it on the sidelines, too, because I think now Culpeper is by a timeout, so can't call timeout if you're, caught and running. So they're going to figure out what kind of play they can get here as they dial up a trick play.
Well, this has been, I would say, if you took out all the penalties, particularly those unsportsmanlike penalties, it's been a fun game to call because it's been so close.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. 3rd down, 12. Blue Devils from their own 32. 11 seconds remaining in the fourth. All right, here's Vineyard on the ball carry. Out to the 35, that's it. That's probably how this quarter, how regulation. Nope, they're going to stop it with 2 points. Oh, there's a penalty flag down. Imagine that.
Yeah, really? Can't end on a defensive penalty.
It's a chop block, isn't
Okay.
it? Chop block against the offense. All right, we'll mark this one off. And then we'll have time for one more play, and then we're going to be headed to overtime, barring a miracle. It will take a miracle,
Yep. They've been known to happen.
But I think that, when you talk about momentum, I think Eastern View may have seized it here in the fourth.
I think
But
so.
will it carry
I agree.
over? Will it carry over?
That's the key. And then,
Well, they push it all the way back to the 17. And again, 2.1 seconds showing on the scoreboard clock.
I mean, you'd have to, what would you do, Culpeper? You don't want to.
The time has expired. All right, so you're ready for OT?
OT.
The OT coming up.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF.
We'll have a toss, probably a coin toss to decide who gets the ball first. And then the team that gets the ball first will start at its opponent's 10-yard line. You'll have 4 downs to score, either a touchdown or a field goal. And then the other team has to match what you did. If you don't score and the other team does, then they win the game in overtime.
That's right.
Now, players are still cramping up there. You can see over there, Steve.
Yep.
That may still be Richard Cannon over there.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Riley Vineyard and of Culpeper and
Number 9.
Hayden Lovelace embrace as a gesture of good sportsmanship. It's been a hard-fought game.
Yeah.
I'll say this. It's been a fun game to call.
It has. It's a fun game. It's just a lot of penalties, though.
Yeah, that's really what's marred the whole thing. But I mean, take that away. But you saw Culpeper with an ability to drive the ball. They stalled 3 times, I think, in the red zone. I think that Eastern View's quarterback, Tyler Caperton, really did find his groove in the fourth quarter and brought the Cyclones back. You think about it, Culpeper scored in the first half, and it was 7-0 intermission, and we only had one score in the second half. It was the one that tied the game up. So it's been a low-scoring affair, obviously, and these two teams are going to decide this Cannonball Classic in overtime.
Looks like Culpeper won. They won the toss, so they're going to go on defense.
Yeah, see, I agree with you. I think if I win the toss, I want to put my defense out there first and force the other team to score in 4 downs. And if they don't, obviously you have the advantage. A field goal would win it for you. But if Eastern View were to score a touchdown, then that puts pressure on Culpeper. They have to at least match that. They have to match that.
But, Mark, I was going to say, though, but they've been successful running right up the middle.
Yeah.
They can get 9-10 yards right up the middle like they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I would envision Culpeper to do. I would, here's what Eastern View is going to do. You got to keep an eye on Caperton. You can't let him run around and get loose because you got to make sure try to get some kind of pressure on him.
Yeah. Well, Culpeper had tried blitzing some, and Eastern View's offensive line had picked it up to protect Caperton. So let's see what happens here in overtime as we start this segment with Culpeper on defense, Eastern View on offense at the Blue Devil 10. Remember, so the offense has 4 downs to score. Here's Caperton. Hand off to the running back. Watch out. He may get in the end zone on first down. It is. And it's number 24, Devin White.
Cyclone touchdown. Right off on the first.
First down, first snap. There he goes.
You know what? That was a good play call because Eastern View caught Culpeper napping. Culpeper didn't expect him getting that football.
Well, it had been mainly Caperton and Hopkins running the ball.
Or did they?
And now Capolini's on for the point after. And this, of course, is crucial as well.
Yep.
13-7 in overtime. Cyclones up. Capolini looking to extend it to a 7-point lead. Eastern View calls a timeout. Very interesting.
Yep. And that called Culpeper napping, Mark. You could just see it. They didn't expect him to get the football, and he ran right up the middle.
Excellent call on offense by Eastern View to dial that one up, don't you think?
Yes, very much.
Well, just so you know, if you're thinking like, all right, what's next? After tonight's game, both these two teams will be on the road next Friday night. Cyclones go to Woodgrove to play the Wolverines, and the Blue Devils go to James Wood to play the Colonels.
I think we're going to Woodgrove according to the schedule
now,
I have.
We've been to James Wood. They've got a nice facility over there. We have not yet gone to Woodgrove, have we?
That's up in Loudoun County.
Capolini on for the point after. Snap, hold, kick.
Good.
Well, Capolini's kick up and good. 14-7. Well, the Blue Devils know exactly what they have to do.
Yeah.
They have to score a touchdown and get an extra point.
Now, if you're the Blue Devils, if you do score, would you go for 2?
That's a great question. There's nothing wrong with Aceveto's place kicking, I don't think. But if you did go for 2, you're saying we're going to win it here or we're going to lose it here.
Yeah. And I like that because you put it in the face, you put it in the hands of your best players and say, hey, let's go for 2.
That's interesting, Steve. That would put Coach Sherry and his staff in an interesting position.
Yep.
Right,
first off, they got to get a touchdown.
Yeah, you got to get in, that's for sure. All right. Culpeper, their turn on offense. First down. Riley Vineyard straight ahead. And he gets down to about the 6.
Yeah.
And that's what you were talking about, Steve, is that with these straight ahead running plays, they're usually good for 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, and you're running behind your big offensive line, and you got to say to your offensive line, we're in better shape than Eastern View's defensive line. So,
and this is probably where, and I think you alluded to it earlier, is that you might want to avoid trying to be too cute here.
Yes, exactly. Go with your bread and butter.
And they've got Vineyard back there. Lentz, Marduz, direct snap, Vineyard. He tries to get the outside, breaks the tackle, he's at the 5. Vineyard's in from 6 yards out. And now the Blue Devils are a point away from forcing a second overtime period.
Touchdown, Blue Devils.
All right, watch this play here, right to Vineyard.
Yeah.
Now, when he goes to the outside like this, Steve, I get a little bit nervous for the Blue Devils' sake, but he was able to make that first guy miss.
Yep.
And
Now, extra point or go for 2? And I would go for 2 here.
So basically what you're saying is,
dice.
look, let's just win this thing now.
Yep.
Don't extend it. But if you don't get it, of course, Eastern View wins 14-13.
You go to your offensive line and you say, look, sell out. Once again, you got to have to drive them back. And what Eastern View's defensive line is going to try to submarine them. So, then they have their linebackers to clean it up. So I would go for 2 here with Culpeper because.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
You haven't beaten them in 18 tries, and now you're telling your kids you believe in them. Let's go for 2. And they are.
Well, how about that? Well, you called it, Steve. They're going to line up like that. Do you go to Vineyard here straight ahead?
Maybe a toss play. Here it is.
I don't know. It's people are on their feet. Blue Devils going for 2 for the win. Vineyard. There goes Vineyard. It looks like he's in.
He's in.
And Vineyard is in for the 2-point try. Culpeper is going to win this game. 15-14. Look at the celebration by the Blue Devils. They've never been here before.
They did it, Mark. I said go for it on 2.
Yeah, you called it. Steve said go for it on 2. Roll the dice. What do you got to lose? Eric Sherry agreed with you. You saw Joe Reeser out there talking to the offensive line. They did their job, and they went to their bread and butter workhorse guy in Riley Vineyard, and his effort got him in for the 2-point. Well, look at the Blue Devil team celebrating.
I mean, this is their season. 18 years in the making.
Yeah.
And they did it. They did it on overtime. What a game.
Well, what a game. The Blue Devils have finally won the Cannonball Classic, and that Cannonball trophy will go to the Blue Devil hardware, at least for a season.
Yep.
And I tell you what, I want to say congratulations to the Blue Devils. Congratulations to their coaching staff, Eric Sherry and the staff making the gutsy call. They had Steve mic'd up. They said Steve saying go for 2. No, I'm kidding. But they were on the same plane of thought that you were. And I want to say also congratulations to Eastern View. They got off to a slow start tonight.
Yep.
They had a couple turnovers in that first half that hurt them. But they forced Culpeper's drives to stall 3 times in the red zone. And then Caperton brought them back in the fourth quarter, tied the game. Gutsy effort by both teams, Steve. And I think if you took away these penalty flags tonight, you'd say this was a dandy of a game.
It was. And seeing the Eastern View is walking off, and the coaching staff of Eastern View is not happy, but, and he's.
Well,
the athletic director is telling him to get the boys back,
Well, you got to come across the field and shake hands. You can't. Well, here's the thing. Here's what, you and I have been around a long time. We've been watching sports since the 60s, and I think one truism is this, that one team doesn't win forever.
Right.
And one team doesn't lose forever. Exactly. And it's just the way it is, and Eastern View had a great thing going all those years at Cannonball Classic. Nothing to be ashamed of. Culpeper finally finds its way on the winning end of this. But, life goes on for both teams. You can enjoy it for a while. You'll be looking ahead beginning on probably Sunday or Monday to next week's opponent.
And Culpeper is, now the teams are lining up. Now they got to get Culpeper's team to line up.
I really do, and I don't want to overstate this, Steve, but I really think that you called it with go for the 2-point try in this thing one way or the other. Win it dramatically or say, okay, hey, we decided to go. We rolled the dice. Didn't work this time. This time it did. But Eric Sherry obviously was thinking the same way you were.
Yeah, and it just said, hey, that's what I said. You got to believe in your team, believe in your kids, and say we're going to end it right here. We're going to get the win, and they did. And it was Riley Vineyard was the one who was able to get it done.
Well, I think you and I both agreed coming in that was going to be a competitive game.
Yep.
But I did not imagine that would end in dramatic style in overtime, especially on a gutsy call to go for it on the 2-point conversion.
And you got to feel for the Eastern View kids. They didn't want to be the first team to give up the Cannonball Classic and lose the Cannonball Classic to Culpeper. And you got to give credit to them. They came out. Yep, they did. They came back. They had the momentum. And the penalties on both sides cost each team.
It really did. I mean, you look at Culpeper's, Eastern View's drive there in the fourth quarter where they penetrated deep into the red zone, and then they had the back-to-back penalty for a holding.
Yeah.
That hurt them.
Yeah.
And then they had to send Capolini on, and then that kick was blocked. But that was just, that really changed things there.
Yeah.
But they were in position to go ahead and win it.
And I think, Culpeper was on that last unsportsmanlike call, where the fans were getting very upset. That was kind of questionable in my book. But
well, see, we're probably going to have to go. We'll have to go off the air at some point. We'll probably talk about football all night. Look at these two teams congratulating each other. And congratulations to both teams for a solid effort all the way through.
Yep.
All right, well, once again, our final score from Cyclone Stadium is Culpeper 15, Eastern View 14. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. We appreciate the help from Johnny Krawchuk and Nick Morris. And next week, both these two teams will be on the road. Next Friday, Eastern View will be at Woodgrove, and Culpeper will be at James Wood. So for Johnny and Nick and Steve, I'm Mark O'Connell saying thanks for watching and supporting both the Blue Devils and Cyclones here on the Culpeper Media Network. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community supporters.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Found in Sons Funeral Home, Culpeper's perpetual best of the best for resources, planning, and support for our entire community. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford, proudly serving the Culpeper community for over 20 years. State-of-the-art service departments and over 22 acres with hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, K&M Lawn, Garden, and Arborist Supplies. Now located directly across Highway 29 from Eastern View High School. K&M, from grass to trees, they aim to please. Nominations are now being accepted for the local area sports Hall of Fame. Nominate anyone that you feel is deserving of historical local sports recognition at localsportshistory.com/HOF.